Hey guys, well, just wanted to give you guys an update. Wanted to share with you something that I was thinking about. And I was thinking about how do I share this. So I wrote about it last night in a group, and it has to do with how do you feel happy after all this, you know? I mean, part of me 2.5 years ago, almost 3 years ago, thought I could never be happy again. Thought, you know, when this person in my life who turned out to be very toxic, I don't know if she was a narcissist, but had a lot of the traits, right? My identity had been fused so much with her, so enmeshed that I didn't know who I was, okay, without her. So even though the situation was very comfortable and I thought that was normal, I thought, well, everybody's living like this, right? You're married 20 years. Some of you have the blessing of only being with your narcissist for 5 years or shorter, and now you're seeing the patterns. So what I wanted to share with you, though, was what does it take? What does it take to get out of this rut, this feeling of like loss and just feel like your whole world's been turned upside down. Here's the funny thing is that the world's always been the way it is. You're just seeing it now. You're just seeing it more realistically. You're instead of denying what is going on, because everybody does that. We have some levels of denial. And that's a self-protection mechanism that we've learned since early childhood. But what's happening now is just like that phenomenon where, if you ever had that, where you buy a new car, right? You buy a red Chrysler, and then pretty soon you're driving around in your red Chrysler, and all you see are red Chryslers around you. Oh my God, everybody's got this car. It's kind of one of those things. The red Chryslers have always been there, but now you're seeing them. So lesson from that, it's all up here, right? It's all in our head. So, you know, deep down, we have to get to the point where we believe that we deserve it. We can read books that tell us we deserve it. I can tell you deserve it, and I believe you do. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to have a peaceful, calm life. See, a lot of us just don't think we're good enough, though. And where does that come from? Again, it's up here. That comes from way back when we were little kids. It comes from way back. And so what you have to do is effectively interrupt those belief systems, interrupt those patterns. We have the belief systems, and then we have the patterns that we act out based on those belief systems. And here's the thing, they're unconscious. We don't even know they're going on. So what I tell people, but this is what I did, okay? And I'm pretty happy now. I'm pretty good. So this is what I tell people. I say, when people first get in, they first discover this, there's so much repressed anger that we got to let it out. We got to blame the narc. We got to blame the narc for doing this, and how could they do that? There's justified anger, and that's good to process that anger, to get it out. But here's the thing, don't get stuck in that. The next thing is, now you take that anger, you take that telescope or microscope, whatever you want to call it, instead of looking out at the narc and, oh my God, my friends are like this. Now we turn it around, and then we go deep in here. And how do you do that? What does that mean? Look at myself, what I write out. Fears, and yeah, there's all kinds of things. There's all kinds of books, different ways of doing it. What I learned, what helped me, was those belief systems. I had to somehow get to those and figure out what those were. So what I, in a nutshell, I wish it was just easy. Snap my fingers, and this is here. You've got it now. But what I ultimately did was, this is what I wrote about, is I became aware. Awareness is so key. because you can't really change something you're not aware of. So what you have to do is you have to get that awareness in you. So how do you get that awareness? How do you become, now that you see red cars everywhere, okay, what do you do with it? Well, what you do is or this is what I did, okay? What I did was I looked at how me, again, the telescope was on me. How do I get affected when I see a blue car, or when I see another red car, or like the environment around me? Because nothing has meaning in itself. It's the meanings that we attach to things. For an example, what do you think of when you see this prize machine? Oh, you get the thing and you move the thing up and down and you can get a prize. Now, when I see those, I instantly feel like my money's going to get sucked away from me at any moment. When little kid sees that machine, they see all the prizes. Oh my gosh, look at all this. I can win a Nike watch or a S4, S8 Galaxy. S4, boy, that wouldn't be much of a prize, would it? So it's the belief systems that we have attached to things. It's the values, it's the meanings of what we attach to things. When I see that machine reminds me of, it's got a negative feeling with me. And I stay away from it. I don't put $5 in there because I know those things. I know guys that own those things and they're rigged. I mean, it's just chance. It doesn't do anything for me. But an unhealthy person, or maybe a little kid, of course kids have parents, and parents set boundaries for kids. You can't, no, Jimmy, you can only put one $5 bill in that machine and that's it. Because it takes $5. It's a pretty steep investment. But if we're older and we still believe, or go putting $5 in the machine thinking something's going to come out of it, yeah, maybe every once in a while you get a breadcrumb, you'll get maybe the thing wiggles and it looks like it's going to drop, but it doesn't. Yeah. So my point is, it's not the machine itself. The machine's the machine. It is what it is. The narc is what he is, or she is. And by the way, they don't change. I think I mentioned that already. But so they are what they are. He is what he is. Are what they are. So when they do something, what do we attach to it? And again, it's looking at, it's being aware. Remember awareness? It's being aware of how you feel when something like that happens. So, okay, so just having that awareness, just being aware when somebody comes up and talks to me, a guy over here comes up and starts yelling at me, I begin to feel my awareness. I begin to feel, like different parts of my body. What do my arms do? What do my shoulders do? Do I tense up? Do I constrict my breathing? That's being aware of your body. And that body is connected to this thing. And this thing has beliefs in it. So when you see that awareness, what you're going to do, what I did, if you want to do this, is you're going to pause, you're going to hesitate, and it's going to get easier over time. At first it's a little awkward, but you're going to just kind of stand back, recognize the different things that your body's doing, that awareness, and just write down what happens. Well, gee, when somebody says this, I get all constricted. Write it down or just be aware of it. It helps if you write it down because you don't have to remember as much. But so then you're interrupting that flow. You're not on autopilot. You're not automatically thinking. You don't even think. I mean, it's all unconscious, subconscious things. It's just things that you automatically do. So that's what it is. That you have the awareness, then you look and see what your body's doing. You feel it. So let me sit down here. There's too many people at the mall today. So that's kind of where it goes, and then what happens is you reprogram that. Basically, I reprogrammed that. Basically, what it was I looked at fears that I had. I had these fears that, and there's fear upon fear. Basically, there's root fears, called root fears, and not root beer, root fears. And those root fears, if you can get to those, and you can write those down and realize that you have those, then you begin to realize, oh, it's just fears. It's not reality. There were red cars, there were red Chryslers all around me before. It's just, now you're just seeing them, and now you're interpreting them differently. Because again, what's in front of us is not reality. 8 different people can see an auto accident, and each person has a different accounting of it because it's based on what their belief system. So if you can realize that, I mean, I guess the best thing I got out of this when I learned this, when I first learned it, and then I applied it, but when I first learned it, before I applied it, the best thing I learned out of it was, okay, so maybe things aren't as bad as I think. Maybe the world isn't as fucked up as I think it is. So you should take comfort in that. You should take comfort in that you think the narcissist, powerful, all-knowing person or something, and they're not. They tell you that, but that's because way back when you were a little kid, you were shamed or something into listening to, well, don't be selfish. You need to take care of Johnny first, What would Johnny say, And that's my story, is that I was shamed into being selfish, If I'm taking care of myself, I was considered to be selfish. And so I'm sure for some of you can relate to that. And it's not that parents were bad. Look, everybody just kind of does the best they can. Narcs do the best they can too, which is their one-trick pony. It's fear. It's fear, it's fear to, they have deep shame, and so they have power and control over the world. We give our power and control away, and they exert power and control. So we're kind of like a match made in heaven. But what we learn to do is we learn to take back by being aware, by creating that awareness, by taking control of ourselves and control of the thoughts that go into our head. Reprogramming ourselves, basically, is we no longer allow others to control us, and thus we're not a narc magnet. We're not vulnerable. And 5% of communication is just words. And the other 90, I don't know, it's 90%, 10%. But most of our communication is subconscious. It's body language, cues that we aren't even consciously aware of. So I wanted to learn all these tips and tricks, and if the narc says this, and I'll say this, and that stuff doesn't work. It can help. The best thing to do is go no contact. That's pretty easy, but it's hard. It's easy in that it's simple. All you got to do is just get away from them. Because I think if you don't do that, you're not going to really have the chance to recover, because you're going to get triggered over and over and over and over again. So what you do is go no contact, and then you can start that awareness with more user-friendly people in the audience, around you in your environment. You can begin to see things at a slow pace. Narc's going to come up to you and be right in your face. You can't recover like that when you're always getting triggered. So you got to be around just, there's people at the mall here. If I say hi to somebody and they don't look me in the eye and say hi back, I'm not going to take it personally. Where before maybe I used to. Oh, does my hair look all right, or is it, See, that's the thing. That's an old belief system that I'm not good enough. That's the underlying thing. I'm not good enough. Again, it came from way back when I was a little baby. Baited baby. So now when I go into the shoe store here, and I go in, I say hi, and they don't say hi right back to me, or they kind of look down. My first thought now is, oh, I wonder why that person's having a bad day. And it's funny, it doesn't affect me. It's more of a curiosity now. Somebody yells at me. I haven't had that. I don't hang around people do that, but instead of that curiosity, instead of that triggering, now because I've changed my pattern of how I think by being aware, by writing down the fears, by realizing they're just fears, they're not real. By doing that, now when somebody says something to me, it's just, I'm curious. I'm like, why does that person feel the need to yell at me? Why are they being so defensive? And I'm calm, and they're still doing that. If they don't get the reaction from me, guess what? They turn around and go the other way. They in other words, you don't, once you get this awareness down, you won't be a narc magnet anymore. In fact, they'll leave on their own. You won't even realize that you're not even attracting these people. It's like kind of, some of you kind of like disappointed maybe. Yeah, I'm thinking, like, wow, I won't be able to get to practice these new techniques on them. No, they just naturally kind of go away. But that's because you changed. You changed up here. Don't ever think that by having empathy and caring about other people, that's a gift. Not everybody has that. So hold on to that gift. Don't think there's something wrong with you. Caring and being sensitive and being empathetic is actually a really good thing. Not everybody has that. What you just have to learn to do is to just put some boundaries on it. If you're walking down New York City and 20 people are coming up to you asking you for handouts, you don't want to give all your money away to all those people. You're going to the movie, you're going to have a good time or something, or you got money for food, for groceries. You're walking down, you got $100 in your pocket. Everybody around you is asking for $5. You're like, oh, okay, I got to take care of you. Okay, I got to take care of you. Here's $5. You don't want to be like that. And that's where some of you are for your mental, your thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But what you have to realize is that you have to take care of you. You have to take care of you. It's okay to take care of you. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no and not have to explain yourself. So a lot of you get to this stage. I know because I was there, right? So a lot of you get to this stage where it's like, I'm sorry, I can't give you $5 because, I need money for groceries and my father's coming in on Saturday and he needs money and, See, you don't have to explain yourself. You can say no. That's the next stage. You can say no and then just be quiet. And then some of you feel guilt, like, I said no, but, I feel bad. I should have, Then the graduated stage, I say the highest stage is where, somebody comes up to you and wants money from you, and you think about you first and you go, and you just smile and you're like, you just nod and you just walk on and you don't feel any guilt, any shame. You didn't do anything wrong. You have your personal boundaries and you've got things to do, and that person, as bad as you want to help them, that money that you saved, you've got people in your lives that matter, that are important to you, and you're saving that money for them. You're more in tune with what you are. You have boundaries now. And it's okay to say no. It's okay to not even acknowledge it. I mean, you can, smile, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, just walk on. Okay, kind of mixed messages. I don't say I'm sorry that much anymore, very rarely. I used to say it all the time. Scratch that, don't say I'm sorry. A lot of you are saying, oh, I need to say I'm sorry all the time. No. Don't say that. Okay, let me look at some of your comments here. Chaco says, I'm upside down. Yeah, reverse pyramid, right? Guys, just having that awareness, just isn't it satisfying to know that, okay, once your world's been like, once you start seeing red Chryslers everywhere, once you start realizing that that it's your perceptions, it's how you see things, doesn't it give you peace to know that you can change that and that things aren't set in stone? Things aren't always this way. You're not always going to have an abusive person there. It's how you can do it. But I know so bad that when you first become aware of this, because we're taught not to be angry and taught not, to be a good person. Well, I'm a good person. I don't get angry at people. I don't say bad things about them. Isn't it refreshing to know that you have my okay? And I know a lot of people in this group, it's okay to blame that fucking asshole narc. It's okay to do that. It's okay to be angry at them. They violated you. You just didn't see it before. Now you're seeing it, and now you're woken up to it. And the narc gets pissed at you because you always played the game, and now you're not playing the game anymore. And then you get blamed for that. So it's okay to be angry at them. It's okay. Just don't get stuck there, right? A couple weeks, couple months, whatever. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be so mad at somebody that you want to kill them. Now, don't kill them, but it's okay to do that. But then after you get that out, and things kind of settle down, you know, by the way, it's okay to be alone. If you can be happy with this person right here, not me, but, you know, I'm pointing to you, you know, yourself, look in the mirror. If you're happy with that person, that's the best state to be in before you start dating people. That's a whole other thing, but you don't need people to make you happy. That's what some of us, we think a relationship is the only way I can be happy. No, you don't need a relationship to be happy. You have to be happy with yourself, and you can learn things to do that. Anyways, to sum up, the key I wanted to bring out today was the awareness. The map is not the territory. What you see in front of you is not reality. It's your interpretation of reality. Interpret reality differently. Interpret it more realistically to know that the narc is not this all-powerful, all-knowing, smart, educated, whatever person. They're not any better than you. But, you know, being around them for 10 years or 5 years or 20 years, they, in their mind, and you bought into it, they're better than you, and you're down here. So it takes a little bit, I admit it takes a little bit to break that conditioning, to know that they're the same. They have flaws just like everybody else. In fact, I know, they actually have more flaws than you. They're actually more flawed. But in the end, I mean, I know you're the same way as I, like nobody's better than anyone else. Just because somebody makes a lot of money. I've seen so many people that have made money and lost it. I mean, it's not the money or whatever. It's who that person is. My friends now that are healthier, I'm not saying like I'd trust my bar buddy to do my taxes. So there's different things to trust. You learn that too. There's different levels of trust with people. But anyways, you get to where you're aware of people. You're more realistic. You're seeing things because your filter has changed. You're kind of processing that, and because your awareness, instead of seeing, you know, 3 colors, now you're seeing 360 colors. Instead of going to the ice cream store that only serves black and white or chocolate and vanilla ice cream, now you're going to Baskin Robbins and you're like, I didn't know there was this flavor. Oh my gosh, I didn't know I could feel this way. I didn't know. Here's one thing. Here's the biggest thing I didn't know. I didn't know that I could have a breakup with somebody in a relationship and still be friends. Like it was like with healthy people you can do that. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool because you were kind of intimate once and now but so you know each other pretty good, but you know that you have boundaries. You know that, you know, it can never work, and you talk about it, but I'm not recommending that, but I'm just saying that, like, that's another flavor of ice cream I didn't know about. I lived in black and white. Narcs live in black and white. They live in chocolate and vanilla land where you're either for them or against them. They either have control over the situation and power of you, or they don't. They don't like the middle ground. They don't like peace and easy. No, they have to stir things up. They have to make it exciting and dramatic. Because you can't take power and control over something that's just sitting there. You can't go up to a rock and say, I have power over you. No, you gotta agitate that rock and pick it up and be able to say, I got you. You know, that's how narcs think. So anyways, awareness. You deserve it. You really do. You might think you don't, but you'll see. You're actually I know you think you're not any better. You're not any better than anyone else, but you're not any worse than anyone else. So just work on that side a little bit. You'll see that we're all created equal. Life isn't fair, okay? But take what you've experienced, this experience. That's what I'm doing now. Look at the lesson. Look at what you've learned. You've been woken up. You've been given so much colorful life now because you do see all the Baskin Robbins flavors now. You don't just see the chocolate and vanilla. Take that. It's such a gift. I know it doesn't seem like it. Not till later on when you see it, but see it now. Maybe this video will help you see it now. So anyways, guys, I love you guys. Toodles.